Hey Mets fans, on this next episode of Rants from the Third Rail with your boy, Chente Camacho Jr., I'm going to be telling the story of the 2015 season, a game in particular that my wife attended. A very fun game, a game that actually wound up making the 2015 amazing finishes. It was a fun night, and I'm just want to revisit it and touch on a really great night and a great time that my wife and I had that evening. Also, I'm going to be giving you guys a heads up on the next episode that I'm going to have rolling out next week. The end of spring training and into the new regular season for the 2021 year. I'm going to have a former minor leaguer, a former prospect. Going to ask him a couple questions and he's going to give us his in-depth analysis. He's a co-panelist of mine. He and I are on the Coffee and Sports Talk Show with host Jay Marrero, my boy from back in the day in the neighborhood. And that's pretty much it, guys. Get ready for the ride. The 7 train's right there. Let's jump on.
This is a Mets Willits Point bound 7 local train. The next and last stop is Mets Willits Point.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Welcome to another edition of Rants from the Third Rail. I'm your boy and your host, Chente Camacho Jr. Guys, before we get started, do me a favor. Please like, share, and subscribe. Go ahead and click that little button down there. Do what that dog is doing. Also, click on the bell for notifications so you can receive alerts for when I drop new videos. Well, today, guys, it's not going to be more of a rant. I'm not ranting today. Today is more story time. I'm going to tell a story of the 2015 season. I told you guys when I first set up here that there was a photo that I wanted to put right there. Well, I haven't found that photo, the actual physical photo, but I do have it on my phone. So I'll print it and I'll just put it up there as soon as I get the chance to do so. That story takes place on June 15th, 2015. Leading up to that story, though, my wife and I, we had taken my nephew to a game in May. I think it was during the Memorial Day weekend. I'm not 100% sure, but I know it was in May. But this was one of the hottest days ever in May. Oh my goodness, that sun beat us down. We really didn't want to be out in. We didn't want to be in the sun that day. It was beaming that day. It was super hot. We kind of regretted going to a Mets game that day. It was, I thought I'd never say that, but it was hot. It was miserable. No matter how much water or beer I tried to drink, I couldn't escape the heat. It was just, and I wasn't overdressed or anything. I was dressed appropriately. It was just too damn hot that day. Well, the Mets lost that game. Yeah, they did lose. It was a close game. And then we vowed to come back so we could have a good time. We go to a few games a year. I'm not a guy that goes 30, 40, 50 games a year. I don't have that kind of money. I'm an SNY guy. I'll sit at home and watch them. But the Mets went on a mini road trip shortly after that game that we attended in May. And the team held the promotion. The promotion was the amount of strikeouts the starting pitchers got during that. It was a quick trip. It was like 7 games. So the amount of strikeouts the starting pitchers netted during that road trip was the percentage off tickets they were going to give to the fans. Turns out, I think it was to their dismay, the Mets starters racked up 66 strikeouts in that short series or that short road trip they went on. Of course, they had select dates that they offered this 66% off. I chose the game for June 15th, 2015 against the Toronto Blue Jays for a number of reasons. 1, interleague play. 2, the Toronto Blue Jays were actually a pretty good team at that time. And 3, Jose Bautista and Jose Reyes making his return as a Toronto Blue Jay. So this was an exciting day. I was hoping to get off early from work to be able to make it on time to watch the game. Unfortunately, I was not able to. My wife was able to, however, and She met me at my job. I worked in Hoboken, so I had to get off work like 5:30. So the trek, fortunately, the ride on the train was smooth. We were rushing, but we still made it just shortly after first pitch. When we make our way to the center field eateries, what they have out there in the outfield, we got something from La Taqueria, I believe. I'm not 100% sure, but whatever. It doesn't matter. The food doesn't matter. But as we were eating, we looking up at the game. We're watching the game, and Jose Bautista takes a young Noah Syndergaard deep. He took him deep. He crushed that fastball or whatever, it was a slider or something, but he put it. And we got the tickets. Our favorite side of the stadium is the first base to right field side, the odd numbers. Usually we do 105, 107, 109 is my personal favorite because I like being right there with the outfielder. You have access to him. So when we get there, we noticed a few rows ahead of us, there was a group of people. And one dude was super loud and belligerent, and he was just heckling Jose Bautista non-stop all game. Where my wife and I sat, we were like right by the King's Hawaiian sign, over out there on right field, but on the field level seats, not up on the 111 side. We was like section 109. So the guy is just there giving Bautista the business. At times he was saying some funny shit, but then like as the game wore on and as he continued drinking, he became more belligerent. He was saying some pretty rude stuff. He wasn't cursing amok. He wasn't, cursing, but he was saying some disrespectful stuff. You don't have to curse to disrespect someone. That's clear. And the guy was using his words very well. He was getting under Bautista's skin because at one point Bautista looks over and just shakes his head. The score was 1-0 for quite some time. And my wife and I, we took this picture right here. This is the picture we took on this night. But the Mets go up in the bottom of the 8th inning. The Mets went up 2-1. This guy decided to give him more business. He started heckling even more. At this point, he did say something nasty, but his own people checked him. And, he was quick to he backtracked a little bit, but he was still nasty. So it turns out the Mets make the third out, right? It's 2-1. Familia's about to come in for the save. So as soon as the third out is made, Jose Bautista turns around and looks in our section and locks eyes with this dude and just, I remembered all game. When I look up and I see due up, Jose Bautista was leading off. I told my wife, if this dude does something and he hits a home run and he ties his game, I'm going to go ape shit. I'm going to curse this dude out. He can't sit here anymore. Sure enough, first and second pitch from Familia, Bautista stroked it and hit it out. Just as I was about to lambaste dude, give dude the business, the entire section turned on these people. Not just the dude, on his people too. They had to leave. The Citi Field faithful, oh my goodness. The people in that section, oh my goodness. They were relentless. The F-bombs being dropped. They had to leave. They walked out. Well, we're Mets fans. That was the last thing they said. And we're like, we don't care if you're Mets fans. You straight up jinxed us. We were up 2-1. And you over here heckling a superstar that tied the game. So they had to leave. They left. I noticed over the King's Hawaiian sign, there was a Indian family, a Sikh family. The gentleman had his head, he had his headgear on, his headwear. And it was in Toronto Blue Jays colors. It was really nice. And when the Blue Jays went up 3-2 in the top of the 11th inning, he turns to me. He's like, we're going to beat you guys. So I'm like, dude, this isn't over. We still have last licks. We still have something to say about this game. And he's like, no, it's over. We're going to bring in our closer, and it's pretty much a wrap. And I was like, man, you're in Citi Field. It's not over till it's over. 3 outs in the bottom half of the inning, close the game out. So let's go. Sure enough, the Mets answered with some freak deacon dunk hits, a crazy bloop by Lucas Duda lands him on second to tie the game, and then Wilmer Flores hits the game-winning base hit right up the middle to score Duda, and we went crazy. This was the night that my wife told me for the first time that she actually liked the Mets a little bit. My wife is a Yankees fan. This is home divided when it comes to baseball. But there's no animosity, so I felt great that night when she told me she liked the Mets. It was just a fun overall night. That was a great time. And that's the end of that story. That's how that story went. And leading up to my next episode for next week, a preview really quick, I'm going to have a former minor leaguer, co-panelist. He and I are on the Coffee and Sports Show, hosted by Jay Marrero, a good friend of mine from the neighborhood in East Harlem, where we discuss New York sports. And this guy, Eugene, is a former minor leaguer, as I said. And I'm going to ask him a few questions so he can provide some in-depth analysis from a former player standpoint and from a fan standpoint on whether or not this fan base has something to be happy about. With that being said, I'm excited to bring him on, and I can't wait to see what he has in store for you guys. But I'm going to sign this one out, as always, y'all, saying hashtag LFGM all day long, hashtag rants from the third rail, or hashtag RFT3R. As always, y'all, thank you guys for tuning in. Peace and love.